Hi everybody and welcome. John, I got the previous one wrong. I cut it. I said welcome, I think, on the previous one. So welcome. It's been an end of a long day and a long week. I don't know about my lighting. I think it seems to be a little bit dark. It could be because it's just gone completely dark outside. Does it look okay from you? You can.
Yeah, it looks suitably eerie.
Suitably spooky. So welcome to 5 Minutes to John and Mark, where we're discussing key issues for developing our organizations and our people. And just to quickly share a slide to get us started, as we usually do. John, I'm going to jump to that now, which is the pyramid that we use within Goodfoot to explain and to develop the services that we bring. So starting from the well-being, and the desire to get the workforce working right at the bottom of the pyramid and building personal managerial leadership skills on the way up. And we're involved at all of those levels. I think primarily, John, over the years, mainly the management levels, but we've been expanding what we're doing in the last 5 or 6 years into the execs and also the well-being recently too. So we're very proud of that. It's something we thoroughly believe in. And today's topic is establishing powerful virtual leadership, John. I think that's the name of the topic that we've agreed that we're going to do. So I'll just share that, stop the share on this screen and chat about that. And John, as we start, we'll go through the format. What is it? I give a tip, then you give a tip, then I give a tip, or the other way around? I think it's going to be the other way around this time.
Yeah, that's right. I was interested in you were saying about the virtual leadership. I think it's something that we at Goodfoot were exploring, weren't we, when we met this week, about how we've had to adapt as a company, and I don't know about you. You've been in Goodfoot for how many years? 23, 24 years?
Yeah, 23, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it must have been a hell of a change for you to.
Yeah, it's a good point. We forget that, don't we? And yes, you're right. We are now meeting every 4 to 6 weeks. A lot of people are now 2 days a week, 3 days a week in the office. We've decided to settle on every month, really, because it's working, right? And we're using Teams and Zoom a lot, basically, for our communication. But the face-to-face is essential. But for us, it's essential once a month.
And there's a lot of power to that meeting. I like being at home and working virtually. I'm used to it, but there is definitely power of getting together, and it was a real bringing together of everybody. It unified us all.
And in this arena, we've been running some events, John, for a construction company, international construction, and a lot of non-English people now working in England. And virtual leadership was absolutely one of the key things. How do we do this? Because we're managing remotely a significant amount of time, less as COVID dies away, thankfully, but certainly significant amount of time. So by less, people will probably be in their office 2 days a week, but certainly not 5 days a week. So a lot of things have changed. And we came up with these groups with some quite significant thoughts for virtual leadership itself, and how to impact our teams in a very positive way when we are mostly remote. So we'll go through the cycle we usually go through: tip from you, tip from me, tip from you, and I hope it's interesting to everybody. Where you go then, John, for your first recommendation?
Well, I think my first recommendation would be around meetings and the types of meetings we have. I think having meetings virtually can fall into many different camps. Let's say that you can have an executive briefing, where it's a little bit more projecting, to the audience, and you may not necessarily want to have, everybody with their cameras on and muted. Whereas you might want to, if you wanted a little bit more of a direct contact with somebody, break that meeting down into smaller groups where you'd be insistent on having cameras on and people speaking. So I think it's important to have different types of mediums for meetings, and choosing the most appropriate one for what you want to have, because sometimes it is just an information giving session rather than something where you do need that level of interaction.
And certainly in the early days, people got onto Teams. People were generally hiding the camera because the children were at home or the dog was there. And we all got used to the home environment, which was really, really good. But some people were switching off because of that, switching off the camera and the mic we have off often because of background noise. But that then became a pattern. So some leaders were saying, well, I never see my people because they're always hidden behind the camera off. And what you're saying, the way around that is to vary the size and purpose of the meeting, give a variety.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So people definitely have to attend meetings in which they definitely have to participate. And I think there should be more of those than the general big briefings. It leads on to my point too, John, to support you in that. It's the kind of water cooler conversation is the thing that's being missed virtually, the spontaneous bumping into how's it going kind of conversation. So with this construction company, we were discussing how to do that on Teams or on Zoom. And one of the comments was, well, I try, but I call on Zoom, I call on Teams, and the person just doesn't answer. So I just have to keep calling. Yeah. So my suggestion back was, it's very, very important as a leader to have the team sense that you could call at any time. It's a bit like wandering around to their desk at any time. You could call at any time, and therefore you're kind of on the ball. You're keeping your eyes open. And perhaps a way to do that with Teams is, we've settled on this, haven't we, John, at Goodfoot, is use Teams to text. I'd like to catch up with you, like a quick chat, how's things, nothing urgent, quick text first, to alert the person, yeah, I'd love to talk with you. And it gives them the freedom to pause, decline, wait a while if they're busy, but they do know that you want to talk. And when we do talk, have a short call only about personal stuff. Couple of 3 minutes. I'm glad you could answer. Thanks. Just wondered how it's going. And here's the magic words. Is there anything I can do to help? Is there anything I can do to help? Is there anything I can do to help? And that by implication is offering help, sure, but it's also saying, look, if you're getting into difficulties and not telling me, that's not my fault. I'm asking you now to be clean with me and say what you need from me. So I would say water cooler conversations are possible. Use text to start them off, and make them unpredictable and make them frequent. So your people in your team feel that they are on call, but they can't get out of it just by refusing to answer. A text gives them a little bit of time, but then have those calls, blend those with your meetings, John, which is a variety of size groups. And I think that the communication is beginning now to be more normal, flexible and different and normal. So that'd be my tip.
No, I think it's a great tip, and to round it all off, I think this last tip feeds into what you were talking about, Mark. So for a long time, when I worked in law, we used to have this thing called the key dates diary, and a key dates diary needed to be available to the partners and to other fee earners. And basically what that was anything important coming up, it needs to be in your diary, simple as. But the beauty of the key dates diary was it had availability to all the people in the team, so they knew what. You know, if I got a big case coming up and I need to get a case in, key dates diary would show the team, okay, leave John alone for Friday because he's busy. Anyway, but this was when we were in the office, and so when we were starting to work at home, and you know, you were talking about introducing a system where we share our diaries, we put meetings, even if it's meetings that I need to go and pick up my son from school or whatever, so that you've got that visibility. The team's got visibility of what you're doing, and I think that that's important to do, and it establishes trust in a team, because people feel like they can have that water cooler conversation. That they can see, John's free in the afternoon. I'll just drop him a call or something like that, and then, you know, if we establish that as the basis, I think that yes, you can manage time, you can manage your diary better, people communicate better, but I also think that it allows us that spontaneity, that natural flow of things in what you would get at work.
I think that's very smart, and I just noticed that actually, John, this is called Just 5 Minutes with John and Mark, but I think it's a bit longer because it's a really good subject. And that availability is important. It strikes me, I know of a team that regularly flags, because we have the technology to do this now, right, with Outlook and the diary systems. So what this team does is flags when they cannot be disturbed, exactly as you said. Look, I'm busy on it, and they all accept. Mark's busy here, John's busy there, etc., etc. Then they have social times, online virtual social times, where they're going to have a quiz or a drink for a brief light team meeting. What they don't do, and I think it's a really good idea, is individually put call me up and chat to me time. That's a neat idea. You know, I'm available if you just want to say hi time. And you're saying it's important for the leaders to do that, Definitely, John. So I think that's a smart point, because you're trying to replicate that availability, aren't you, and accessibility.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We really appreciate it. We wish you all well. Do contact us if you've got any of your own thoughts or ideas. That was establishing powerful virtual leadership from John and I, and look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, John.